Ah, the Chaotix. The trio of detectives ready to solve any case as long as they get a paycheck. To be fair, they are competent when the need arises, like figuring out their client in Sonic Heroes is Dr. Eggman, recovering Dr. Joe Robotnik's message from Shadow the Hedgehog, so that the titular character can save the day, and correctly speculate on the real nature of the Time Eater from Sonic Generations. The point is, they get the job done despite the members consisting of a crocodile whose vocal coach is Bobcat Goldthwait, a ninja who takes himself way too seriously at times, and the bee. Which brings us to today. We're starting a new story arc featuring these guys for the first time, within the context of the new universe. No, they had to share the spotlight with Knuckles. We're going to see them do their thing without them getting involved with the likes of Sonic, Knuckles, or Eggman, as far as we know. We begin with Vector in the office giving his version of noir narration. It's a bit goofy and cliche. Even ends with a variation of the old "and then she walked in" line. The she in question is Lieutenant Echo of the Meropis City Guard. She's here because there's been a possible kidnapping involving their princess Undina, aka Mysterious Purple Fish Girl. The princess was studying at Spagonia University, but she stopped checking in with her parents. They received a ransom note sometime later, however, when the money was dropped off, no one was there to retrieve it. Vector wants to start asking people at Spagonia University, but Echo's way ahead of him. In fact, we get to see her investigations. After enduring Professor Pickle's ramblings, she learned that the princess went to Empire City. Turns out she hung out with Honey the Cat for a while, and the fashion designer said the princess wanted to travel the world. That's when the trail went cold until Echo received anonymous information that the princess was last spotted in Westopolis, along with her kidnappers, pirates. Vector rightfully asks, why does she need help from the Chaotix? Well, she doesn't know the area, and the dock workers are unwilling to talk to her. Then she stumbled on the Chaotix flyer. Yeah, guess who made that? But hey, it works, and the Chaotix will get a generous payment for their services. Charmy and SBO arrive, and soon the four are off to the docks. Luckily for our detectives, Echo has transportation. They arrived at the docks and confront the worker that snubbed Echo earlier. Vector presents the worker with paperwork that indicates covering up some missing cargo. And just like that, he confesses that the ship took a shortcut near an island called the Knives. They were then attacked by pirates and the cargo was taken. Not to mention someone fitting the princess's description was among them. A friend of his altered the records because of business reasons. With a possible lead, our quartet leave. The guy's given the paperwork, but Vector, in a clever move, points out that they made copies. Now how will they get to the Knives without a boat? Again, luckily for the Chaotix, Echo's car can travel underwater. Charmy has a valid question. What if the car windows break? Echo says the car has a pressurization field and air charms in the glove box. We then get some backstory on the princess on how she was training to be a temple priestess, but ultimately didn't get the position. The people of Meropis, like Echo, are concerned for her during this crisis. As they approach the Knives, they hit something. Insert your own car jokes here. As they investigate, Vector gets ambushed by Razor and his Chow Crusher. After a brief misunderstanding, Razor says he's looking for the princess on Coral's behalf. She would go herself, but she has temple duties to perform. Everyone finds it convenient that Razor just happens to be here, where there have been reported pirate sightings. More on that later. Speaking of pirates, they arrive in a submarine. In a nice subtle bit, you can see it approaching in the background. The group try to escape in the car, but they are snatched and hauled up. The issue ends with them in front of the pirate crew, and yes, the princess is with them. As I said in the introduction, we got to see the Chaotix work on a case that did not involve the likes of Sonic, Eggman, Chaos Emeralds, and so on and so forth. And so far, they've been clever. Yes, I'm including Charmy because he drew that flyer and it did indeed put them on the case. Vector's handling of the dock worker is, well, genius and worthy of detective status. SBO, he's a ninja, and ninjas are cool, though the Bee disagrees. The arc also brought focus back to the underwater denizens of Meropis. For those who don't know or need a reminder, we first met the underwater fish people in the story arc Waves of Change. Said arc hinted at things such as the princess being abroad. A line like that would make one wonder if something was planned down the line, and here we are. What helped were the brief appearances of mysterious purple fish girl, aka Princess Undina. She really got around, which begs the question, how did she get to all those different places? Remember, her travels took place at the same time the planet was in pieces, most likely by air, but then I would feel sorry for the poor schmo who had to mop up after her. As the final panel revealed, she did indeed end up with pirates. Now, was she kidnapped and is still a hostage? Kidnapped and then joined the crew? Or just joined the crew right off the gate? We still have 3 more issues related to the arc, so hopefully we'll find out. I'll save my comments on the pirate crew themselves until we get to know them better, though I will say they have some pretty interesting designs. 2 other characters from Meropis make a return appearance in this story. First is Lieutenant Echo. She was a minor character in Waves of Change, so I was surprised to see her in a more prominent role here. And I like that. They could have invented a new character from the underwater city, or have Captain Stryker be the one to encounter the Chaotix, though the latter idea would be interesting to see. No, they went with a minor established character and expanded her role. So far she has good chemistry with Team Chaotix. And I did get a smirk about her incident at one of Spagonia's fountains. She's also competent, trying to find the princess and was closing in on the trail until dock workers roadblock her. It was only afterwards that she hired the Chaotix. The other returning character is Razor the Shark. Well, him and his chow buddy, but we'll focus more on Razor. The reason he's at the same location as a pirate sighting, and the reason he's out searching for the princess on Coral's behalf, may or may not be related. See, Razor was once a pirate, as Supersonic Digest 15 revealed. He was in disagreement with the rest of his crew, and they beat the tar out of him and tossed him overboard. The tides brought him to the Meropis shrine, and Coral nursed him back to health. The reason he stayed was because Coral defended him when he was accused of thievery. That, and he's developed a little crush on her. That's the reason I think he began his search for the princess, to ease Coral's mind. And being a former pirate, he would naturally search locations like the Knives for signs of activity. That would put Lieutenant Echo on edge, since relationships between Razor and the city guard are already tenuous at best. Adam Bryce Thomas is the penciler again, and it looks like he's getting better with character models. I'm giving part 1 an 8. This issue's fun and without the stigma of the Shattered World crisis. It helps that this was co-written by Aaliyah Baker and Ian Flynn, though Aaliyah's name gets top billing. Your typical marriage right here, folks. Anyway, next time we'll see what's the deal with the pirates. Until then, have a good day and be safe. I often wonder, how many students survive Professor Pickle's constant ramblings?